It's all about the Cardinals at the moment. It is time for Know Your Opponent. Alex, ready for this
one? I'm ready for this one too. We may not be on fire, but we got someone in here who is on fire from the He's on Fire podcast, Evan, and he's here to talk about these Arizona Cardinals, really diving in, getting to know them, right? Understanding what's going on with this team, what guys may be out, what impact that may have, and what he's feeling about San Francisco and what he's feeling about his team. You know, where can they take advantage and attack San Francisco? Where is San Francisco weak that they can exploit? All of those things. We're going to get all into it. We're going to dive in super deep. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm curious what he says about how his defense is going to be able to stop Trey Lance and the run game and a mobile quarterback. See if that brings up any worries for him, or if he feels very comfortable going against a rookie quarterback. I am curious what Evan thinks about it.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting. We know more information now, more than we did a few days ago. A few hours ago.
Yeah.
We know Jimmy's a no-go. It's looking like Kittle is going to be doubtful. All of those things don't necessarily bode well for San Francisco. We will have Elijah Mitchell, so that could help the run game. But let's dive into this to Evan, and let's bring him on. Evan, how you doing, man? How you doing, my guy?
I am doing wonderful. How about you guys today?
We're doing okay. There was kind of a lot of information thrown our way in the last few hours, so we have a better idea of what's going on with the 49ers and what they're going to have to try to do against your Cardinals. So I'm really glad that you are joining us, because this, I think, is going to be a very interesting conversation.
Absolutely, and the ones that I've already had with Alex have been tremendous insight on both teams, but I think everything kind of comes down to now who is and who is not playing for each team. Like, first off, Russell Wilson, ruptured middle finger. He's going to be going on the IR for 4 to 6 weeks or something like that after getting surgery. That's insane for the NFC West just to start with, and that doesn't even concern our game. So talk about a shakeup just to begin with. And then on the Cardinals side, it's looking like, fortunately for you guys, Byron Murphy, our best DB cornerback, is going to be out of the game too. Couple other questionables, but that's from the Arizona Cardinals side. But with Trey Lance throwing, it might be the ideal situation for the Cardinals to have him miss this game. So what are your guys' thoughts on that, just with Byron Murphy being out? Because Alex, I've been going ham on this defensive backcourt, how physical they've been, considering how young they are. It's their best unit, and then we lose our best guy. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Look, for me, hearing that Byron Murphy was going to be out was the one name where it's like, okay, well, this now plays a little bit better for Debo. Maybe a little bit better potentially for Brandon Ayuk. And also the fact that I don't know what the status is on Marco Wilson and the ribs. But the rib stuff leads me to believe now you're in a position where you can get Trey some easy throws and some screen opportunities, and maybe try and bully him around a little bit out there in space. We got some good blocking guys out there in space. Obviously, we're not going to have Kittle. Oh, well, we may not have Kittle. He's doubtful now. So I mean, there's a lot of matchup things across the board now that are just not what I was expecting going into this game for sure. But hey, how do you feel about that and just Byron Murphy not being out there?
I'm thankful because. Let's be honest. If he was playing and we weren't going to have Kittle, which it appears we're not going to have Kittle, they would definitely be able, to just get it over on us, because they don't have to help now. Now they don't have to help on Kittle, so that means that they can, do the things they want to do with Debo and really bracket him. But this presents a little bit of a different angle for the 49ers, because now do the 49ers bring up like a Jordan Matthews as a third tight end, or do they bring up someone like a Travis Benjamin that can now take the top off the defense? And with Arizona now missing a corner, and a very legit corner, could there be opportunities to put a speed receiver on someone like a Marco Wilson? I mean, I know he's very good. I like to break down him coming out of college, but there are definitely avenues, I think, for the 49ers to be able to attack that secondary now, which I think, even from listening to what Evan said on Quest for the West, it seemed like the secondary was pretty much locked down. And now there's a little bit of a hole, and I'm thankful, because if not, I was really getting kind of concerned about it.
I want to jump in real quick. The next guy up is going to be Antonio Hamilton, a guy that not a lot of people know, but he actually has been playing very well too, as our kind of fourth, sometimes fifth DB. I know he's fourth on the depth chart, but a lot of times Isaiah Simmons can go into coverage and cover the slot guy, or he'll cover like a tight end type of guy. So Antonio Hamilton's really like our fourth, fifth, and he's he's on the injury report as well too with an ankle injury. He's been limited and is now officially questionable. And then Marco Wilson. So it hurts. I'm not going to lie, it hurts. But again, with the depth that we have and guys coming back even at safety, I feel good about it. I'm a little worried. This might be the one that it might be okay with, just because I think you guys are going to stick to a lot of dink and dunks and wide receiver screens and play action. You're going to do a lot of little things like that where I don't think you're going to open the whole playbook for Trey Lance. Am I off on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a complete open playbook, but I think they're going to take shots, because the one thing that Kyle's done with Trey Lance, it was in the preseason, it was all through practices that we saw, was he likes to dial up big plays where he can get a half roll, get Trey where he can just open it up and let it fly. Because I do think he wants the secondary to kind of loosen up a little bit. Because if he gets those safeties and the secondary guys to loosen up, then he can go to those patterns like you talk about, that he wants to get the ball into the playmakers' hands and let them create with their legs. So I think he'll dial up a few shots, but I think you're right for the most part. It won't be, a huge effort. It won't go continually. It'll just be some very well-manufactured plays that get him in the right position to maybe have some success. That's why I said maybe a Travis Benjamin this week. Just something you can dial up, but he has real good chemistry with Trent Sherfield as well.
Oh, I miss Trent. I was so disappointed when we let Trent go. I was a big fan of his. Never thought he really got the opportunity that he deserved. And I don't know if he's fully getting the opportunity that he deserves in San Francisco either, but very underrated player, so much speed, and he's wonderful on special teams too. So Kittle being out now as well too. Jimmy G out. Talk to me about your offense. I mean, we've already kind of talked about what Trey's going to have to do, but without Kittle, like, what does that really do for the rest of your receivers, but really your running backs coming out of the backfield? Because that's one thing we've actually kind of struggled with.
It's the run game now takes a hit. I mean, it really does. It's not maybe like an end of the world hit, because you still have a guy like Juszczyk can go out there, and Dwelley at times has been serviceable as a blocker. He doesn't move people the way Kittle moves people, but Dwelley is serviceable, kind of in that role of he's able to get to a spot, create that angle, get that leverage, get his hips turned, and create that hole. It's just not going to be the big hole, the big gaping hole that Kittle creates at times. The big get for the Niners is the fact that you're not going to be missing Trent Williams. Like that's huge. The fact that Trenton's going to potentially be rolling out there and be okay and be able to operate, doesn't make up for not having Kittle, but it definitely doesn't kill it, because the run game ability. The run game ability would take a huge, massive hit if you were missing both Trent and Kittle. Only missing one of the two sucks. But in that regard, it's not the end of the world. But for me, like the Kittle missing Kittle now is like it's a security blanket thing for Trey. For Trey Lance now, if the running game's able to get going, and we have a feeling that it will, just because we're going to be able to free some linebackers at times. Read option stuff is going to be there as well, so it's going to have to make people play a little bit more home. It's going to be harder now on pass opportunities and short stuff underneath the middle of the field, because you're not going to have a guy like him out there, like Kittle not being there, not being able to run routes, isolating linebackers in space and things of that nature. It allows you guys to take a guy like Isaiah Simmons now, like you were talking about, and you don't need to worry about Dwelley. We can find somebody else to cover Dwelley. We don't need to utilize your body there in space. We can put you on a running back. We can put you in a slot on another guy. They can utilize his talents elsewhere. That's one less body they need to occupy in space.
So the other big one that's out for me would be Quan Williams for you guys, right?
Yeah.
That's a DB that's out, especially going up against our receivers. Now, I've already said that D-Hop isn't a 100%, and he hasn't been for 2 or 3 weeks. So we don't know what to expect from him. He could be ready to go. It's another rib thing. It's kind of weird with all the rib issues we've been having. But he goes out. Who's the next guy that steps up on that right side? Is it Josh Norman? Don't say Drake Kirkpatrick, because I saw him in coverage last year, and I'm not worried about him stopping any of our guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so basically it looks like Norman's going to be ready to go. And if Norman's ready to go, I expect him to be opposite of Emmanuel Mosley. The key thing is playing in the nickel where K'Wan Williams was playing. It's probably going to be, believe it or not, Dante Johnson. For some reason, Dante Johnson playing in the nickel, he plays it well. You put him on the outside on an island, it's not good. Like it's bad. It's real bad. And I think Dre is the next guy in. Now, he did play very well against Seattle last week and actually handled, Tyler Lockett for the most part. But I mean, I don't think you're counting on that consistently, that playing. But I think we do feel a lot more comfortable with that corner room than we did maybe 2 weeks ago, because there were just so many things up in the air. But we got some good play from Josh Norman, decent play from Kirkpatrick, and Dante Johnson just stabilized the interior, playing in K'Wan Williams' place. I mean, he's not K'Wan Williams by any means, but they do a good job of scheming it up and confusing. And one thing that D'Amico Ryans has been doing a lot is dropping guys out from the, showing blitz, dropping guys out, whether that's linebackers or, in fact, last week, Samson Ebukam and D Ford on the same play dropped out into zone coverage and kind of helped and allowed, Dante Johnson to be able to play over the top. And so I think he's scheming it up to, protect these guys. And so I think that's what they're doing right now. They're masking some issues, and so far it's working. We'll see if Kyler can figure it out. If Kyler can figure it out, because he's one of the best against the blitz, if he can figure out what they're doing, it could be a long day for the Niners. If he can't, then the Niners can stay in this for a long time.
Well, one thing I'll say about Kyler Murray against pressure is he has a PFF rating of 153.8, which is
kind of
damn near perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you're playing at that level, at some point you expect the other shoe to drop and averages just to kind of balance out. But this could be his special season. This could be it for Kyler Murray. This could be that season. And he's been playing special. He's reading the defenses. He's no more doing what we talked about last night on my podcast. He's on Fire podcast with Alex, where, Kaepernick would just do one read and go. And that was Kyler Murray for a long time. Last year, we saw a little bit of a development. This is year 3 now for the quarterback, and he's making 2-3 reads, then going, and he still has his eyes downfield now, which we didn't see before. And that's when he's making a lot of the big plays, or he's going and he's gets 6, 7, 8, 9 yards. And that's the scary part about Kyler Murray for you guys. And so when you miss any type of defensive back, that's really tough. The good thing about Trey Lance playing is I'm less worried about mobile quarterbacks nowadays, because our guys were just talking about it. I think it was Marcus Golden had a quote, "How do you feel about playing against a mobile quarterback?" He goes, "We play against Kyler Murray every day. Trey Lance is no Kyler Murray." And I was like, okay, I feel better about that. That was one of the things I worried about. But once you hear that from the defense, it gives me the warm fuzzies. But here I am again, going into game week, drinking all of the Kool-Aid, thinking all these magical things are going to happen. And it's happened so far, but I've got Stockholm syndrome. I think this is an absolute perfect opportunity for the 49ers to come in and take us off our high horse and have all these teams be 1-1 in the NFC West going into week 6.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would love it. I would love it. But knowing that we're not going to have Kittle, knowing that, you still don't have Dre Greenlaw out there in the secondary, no K'Wan Williams, those things just scare the absolute heck out of me. Kyler Murray has operated at a very different level this year. He's operated at a high level, I felt, the last 2 years. Even as a rookie, he had times and moments and flashes where I was just like, oh, gosh, I don't want to see this dude in a couple of years. I really don't. And we're here now. We're a couple of years away from that rookie season, and it's terrifying every time he drops back and every time he gets a little bit of extra time. And right now, even when there's pressure, he's having success. Do you foresee that not just being an issue for the 49ers, but just overall this season, teams not being able to send pressure because of his ability to escape? How often is he making big plays this year escaping? Because 49ers fans may not be watching a lot of Arizona Cardinals games. They may just be like, well, maybe, he's just sitting in the pocket dealing. Is he just sitting in the pocket dealing, or is he getting out in space and creating?
Well, the first thing you got to kind of look at is that offensive line, right? Rodney Hudson, the addition at center coming over from the Raiders, is the best interior lineman as far as, he hasn't let up a pressure yet. Like, how huge is that for any center? Alex Mack did that when he went to the Falcons, his first year there. That's when they went to the Super Bowl, and he was so damn good. He got everything on the line ready to go, and it just set their offense off that year. So having a good center is so underrated, I feel like, in the NFL. It's highly underrated. So we start there, we upgrade that position. The rest of the offensive line has kind of been in flux. Justin Pugh has been injured, but kind of going back. DJ Humphries was absolutely horrendous against the Jaguars, and then has nothing but bounce back games every single time he has a bad game. And Kyler Murray has 9 QB hits on him through 4 games, 5 games, 9 hits. So part of that is attributed to, yes, he's able to get out of the pocket. He's able to make plays. Another part of that is his quicker release, his ability to be able to pre-read everything, right? And then the offensive line just gearing up another notch as well, too. One thing that really stood out to me, which I want you guys to watch, was the last few games, whenever we're going there, we're about to call a play with about 13, 14, 15 seconds left on the clock. You will see the running back, not Kyler Murray, pointing out something. He talks to the running back, which is usually Chase Edmonds or James Conner. Kyler Murray goes up, makes an adjustment at the line. They come back, and I swear to God, 10 out of 10 times that play is going for positive yardage. But it's when the running back says something to everybody else first. So the communication of the backfield, just the entire backfield combined, along with the communication that they're being able to do and make adjustments on the fly, has been superb. Something I haven't seen before as a Cardinals fan. I'm used to 5-yard penalties, offensive starts. Anybody shows pressure, guys are going to flinch. It's just very interesting to see that coming from the running back as well, too. So I attribute all of that to why Kyler Murray hasn't really been touched that much this year. And there's just a bevy of stats that are out there that prove this point as well, too. He's just able to play against the pressure, able to communicate, and able to pre-read it. There's so many things that are in his favor. As I said, it could be that special year, but I just don't want to jinx it, you guys. I don't want to say anything more.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you know, that's the scary thing, because that's what Patrick Mahomes was doing the year that they won the Super Bowl. Is he was just defeating, pressure, defeating the blitz at a high level. And when you do that, you're pretty hard to play against. And I mean, last week the 49ers did a pretty good job of confusing Russell Wilson early in that game. And then Seattle figured out that they could put 49ers in base 4-3 personnel, and they were able to pick them apart that way. So I'm wondering how Arizona is going to attack this, because Arizona normally, goes out there with all the receivers. Are they going to be willing to put the 49ers in a base 4-3 set, or are they going to try to sit there and put them into a nickel and just, completely spread them out and go one-on-one or take advantage of those outside guys? Is that something you foresee, or do you think they will try to put them in base 4-3 personnel sometimes?
Dude, they have done so many different things this year. I can't tell you one thing. And the thing that's also been very impressive with this team is their adjustments coming out of halftime. They have completely changed everything. They'll be going pistol, then they'll go 10-man, which, 4 wide receivers out. They'll play one-on-one. They'll do all of these things. And then Kyler gets to the line, and then he makes the adjustments. I can't tell you what they're going to do, because it's been different every single time. I can tell you they want to establish the run as well, too. Now, are they going to establish the pass first to open up the run game, or are they going to try to run up the middle? We're going to find out in the very first 2 possessions. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. I would suspect they're going to go with the passing attack to start with. That's kind of been their strength, is all of their 4 outside guys. They've got 4 guys they can pass to at any time. Rondale Moore can take it to the house any single time he touches the ball, including punt and kick returns. AJ Green has rejuvenated his career. So if you got one of the smaller guys on him too, you can go to him one-on-one. I mean, Jalen Ramsey isn't out there, so I expect a bigger day from D-Hop as well. But just when you're going to bring those safeties over, that's when we're going to do all these draw plays. We're going to hand it off to Rondale Moore. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things. So they're definitely going to take what the defense gives them and then adjust on top of that. In theory, you were right. They would try to keep them in the base 4-3 and then go out from there. But what they did to St. Louis and how they did it in different ways was just very impressive. So I can't tell you for sure, because I don't even know if Cliff Kingsbury knows quite yet. But I do know this. They script their plays. They scripted the first 5 plays at the second half last week, and they try to script the very first 2 drives. That's 2 full drives before they go from there. So we'll find out. Again, watch the run, what they do the very first 2 possessions, and we're definitely going to find out.
I'm excited then. I'm excited to see that. Yeah. Absolutely. Kyle, scripter of plays also. He's a schemer. He loves doing that as well. So it'll be a fun little chess match there with what they want to do pieces-wise. But it's going to be a little tougher and a little different for the 49ers offense with Trey. How in the world are the Arizona Cardinals going to attack this, man? Because we saw last week with Seattle when Trey Lance went in there second half, they went base. They went base cover 3. They didn't disguise anything. They didn't try and put a lot of pressure. We talked a little bit on your pod, and you said, hey, I want to go after this kid. If he's struggling to make reads, though, if they don't feel he can find the areas of the field, do you foresee them just kind of laying off and being like, okay, kid, beat us underneath, take the underneath stuff, or do you think that this defense and with the guys and the talent and the speed that you have on the edge, the talent that you have on the interior now with a guy like J.J. Watt, you can move around in a bunch of different places. They're just going to go after this kid and say, all right, let's see what you got.
I would love that. I would love to see that. And I'd like to see Chandler Jones get home. I'd like to see J.J. Watt get home finally. But from everything that I've seen and read, considering Byron Murphy's going to be out, is they're going to play your boy, Zaven Collins. So what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of Isaiah Simmons going to outside linebacker or cornerback position, maybe like a hybrid safety position. And we're going to see Zaven Collins and Jordan Hicks in the middle. So with that being said, they're going to play a lot of nickel. They are, and I believe that they're going to rush him too. I think they're going to rush the absolute dog shit out of him, especially when you got a guy like Isaiah Simmons that can cover almost anything, anywhere on the field. Expect big days from Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker as well too. I expect the safeties to come up a little bit. I've seen that. They don't expect him to beat him over the top. So maybe one safety deep. Let's bring another safety up to stop that run, or to rush on the edge, right? So that's what I'm expecting. How is Trey Lance going to handle that pressure? Is he going to be able to escape it? Can you escape a Budda Baker? Can you escape Isaiah Simmons and make a couple plays? Are the dink and dunks really going to come in? That's where I think that they're really just going to go quick reads, boom, 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 because they're going to expect the pass rush. But I'm not a Niners fan. I haven't watched all the games like you guys have. So I leave that to you guys of what you think. So with me telling you that, what do you think that they're going to do to counter that?
Well, I think first off, the big concern for me, and I've been feeling this since they've been saying Trey Lance was going to start, was Isaiah Simmons being able to match up with Trey Lance. To me, that's a bad matchup for the 49ers because Isaiah Simmons is a tremendous athlete and he's big enough to stick with him, to tackle him in open space. They could pretty much muck up the reads as far as the read option as well and just say, all right, Isaiah, I want you to take away Trey Lance. And I think he has the ability to do so. So that scares the living heck out of me as far as the run game goes. And I think it's all predicated on the run because I think if we don't establish a run game early on, that Arizona is going to be able just to come, like you said, come after Trey. And Trey's going to have to try to create. And unfortunately, I don't think he's at the level now where he's going to be able to create consistently with his legs or outside the pocket. So extending the pocket, occasionally he'll be able to do that. But yeah, they're going to have to get the run game going. And if not, it's going to be a struggle because he's not willing to take those checkdowns. He's not willing to take those rhythm throws yet. The development is just not there yet. Once it is, then he'll be a lot harder to play, and then it'll be a different situation. But right now, it's tough. It's kind of nerve-wracking.
49ers fans have this already grained into their head that this kid is Pat Mahomes 2.0, Kyler Murray. Like, he's that, of that mold. And I haven't seen it yet because I've seen Kyler Murray be able to take the underneath throw. I've seen him be able to make rhythm throws. I've seen him, be willing to stay in the pot. I've seen those things from him. I've seen those things from Pat Mahomes. Kyler Murray, like you talked about, right? You said it. It's taken Kyler Murray 3 years to get to where he is right now. And where he is right now is great. I think 49ers fans believe Trey is that already. There is a section of the fan base that believes he is that already, and I haven't seen it yet. There is nothing that he has done that makes me believe, and I would say Ann agrees with me on that he is that yet. He's a rookie. He has a lot of things he's got to clean up, and he's had not a lot of time to clean those things up. And college, an additional year of college football would have helped him clean those things up, but that was taken from him as well with the COVID season. So he needs time.
Right.
I'm one of those guys right now who believes in 3 years Trey's going to be A-okay, just fine, going to be great. He's going to be great for this organization and franchise. But that's 3 years from now. That's still a long way away. And I'm not sure yet if I think the way you want to attack him and the way you're talking about it is a great way to try and attack him as well, especially because you have like Ant talked about, you have Isaiah Simmons, you have that guy who can match up with him in space, bring him down and all those things. If you try and make Trey read the field quickly, make quick decisions, there are opportunities to create turnovers and to end drive-ending decisions. Because if he doesn't look to the right spot, if he doesn't put the ball in the right space, if he's not able to get the ball out quickly, all of those things can lead to tips, turnovers, strips, intercept, all of it. And he's prone to doing all of those things right now because of the elongated release, and he's not comfortable with what he's seeing.
So all in all, you guys are not really looking forward to Sunday with everything that you've told me.
It's like catch-22, right? Like,
Yeah.
if Kyle schemes it up the right way and they're prepared for those blitzes, they make the right blitz calls and pickups, and guys execute and do their job to give him time, then Trey can have success. If he finds the right guys and the right shots, if you give him deep ball opportunities, he gets 50-50s and he's able to put the ball up in space. Some of those are going to go his way, and that could overcome some of the other mistakes underneath. The real question is turnovers. If he's making turnovers, it's going to be a long freaking day. If he's not taking turnovers, though, and he's taking care of the football, then there's always going to be a chance for Trey. I don't know where I'm at yet. It's one of those things where I want to wait and see, but I also know that, there's going to be things that go well for him and things that don't go well. So when things aren't going well, like, how bad is it? Is it turnover bad? Is it just drive ending bad? Like how is it? Because we saw last week, right? No turnovers from Trey, just plays that ended drives that could have been extended. Well, we were in it at the end. Okay, that's fine. But if those drive ending, mistakes start becoming turnovers, it's going to be a long day.
And I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. San Francisco is one of the more notorious sports town in America. You can watch any sport you want. You got 2 colleges close by. I mean, you can count Philly in that, and quite a few other cities, but specifically San Francisco, when you got a guy like Trey Lance out there who's going to need time. He didn't play at Florida, he didn't play out of Michigan or anything like that. He played at a small school, similar to Carson Wentz, although, Carson Wentz seemed to get it that one year and then got injured when they went to the Super Bowl. Are you and our San Francisco fans willing to let him throw a 4 interception game and still trot him out next week? Or is it just, if he's playing bad, like, no, screw this guy, I'm done with it? Is there no patience with you personally and then with the San Fran fans?
Well, I think let me start out with the San Fran fans. I think there is a huge section of San Francisco fans that are ready to roll with Trey Lance no matter what production you get out of him. Whether that is him throwing 4 interceptions and they're ready for the season, whatever happens with it. I would say that my way of looking at it has been consistent in the fact that Kyle Shanahan wants to win. He believes that this team can win. And as a coach, it would be hard for me to go to Trent Williams, George Kittle, and all these other players and say, you know what, all that work you put in over the offseason, we're ready now to go with the young kid, whatever happens, and the season is mute. Because there are people people do believe that Trey Lance could win 10-plus games. I don't believe that. I think there's going to be too many bumps in the road that the 49ers aren't good enough for that to happen. So I think that right now there's that interesting part of it. Now, if it got 8-9 games and we're sitting 500 or below 500, I think you do turn it over to the kid. Everyone then understands we weren't going to make a run. Let's go ahead and let this guy roll, and we'll worry about what happens next year. I just think it's a little early for that now. So I do struggle with that aspect because I know that as a coach, you can lose the locker room if you decide this early in the season that I'm going to cash it in, because he's been very clear Trey Lance is number 2, Jimmy Garoppolo is number 1, and now you're saying, you know what, we're just going to roll with the kid. If it doesn't give you the best opportunity to win, you can't do it. Those guys are professionals, and they won't respect that. If there was no Jimmy Garoppolo on this team and it was just Trey Lance, everyone would know what they were getting into. But I think it's really hard sell to tell great players like that are still wanting to win a Super Bowl that, you know what, you got next year, because some of them might not have next year.
Great answer. Alex, you personally, he goes out, throws 3 interceptions. Are you willing to trot him out the next week afterwards?
If Jimmy's not healthy, 100%. It's just that simple for me. If Jimmy's not healthy, then that's what it needs to be. If Jimmy's healthy, then at this point in time, especially if he goes out and throws 3 interceptions, it's not that I don't want him to ever play again. It's just he's not ready. Putting him out there to get exposed and make a bunch of mistakes and just take the morale of the team down as well as himself down, I don't know how that's going to do him any better. And there's a lot of 49ers fans who feel like, well, if you just get him reps, he's going to make mistakes, but the more reps he gets, the better he's going to be. Well, I'm a guy who's all about quality over quantity. I want the quality of the reps to be good. I don't care how many reps you get. If you get 20 great reps, and then the 20 great reps is going to be better than 100 terrible reps. And you're not going to learn anything from the 100 terrible reps. well, you maybe learn, 100 ways not to do something. You're right, but you still haven't found the right way to do something either, right?
So it doesn't really work in sports, right?
No, it's not the same. It's really not. It's all about the quality, right? It's all about making sure that you're doing the right things and doing what you need. The reports that are coming out is that Kyle, the thing he loved the most about Trey was that Trey, in North Dakota State University's offense, Trey was really good at distributing the ball to the person he was supposed to distribute it to. That's great. Trey had 2 seasons to figure that out. He had a redshirt season in which he did not play and sat behind Easton Stick and watched him do his thing. And then a freshman campaign where he went out, balled out, and did everything he was supposed to do. And then what would have been his sophomore season. But he had a full year sitting to learn, digest, see, develop, and grow in that system before he went out there and did it. And then had a ton of success doing it specifically that way. So the argument for me doesn't hold water that if he doesn't go out there, he's not going to develop. Well, it happened in college. Why wouldn't it happen here?
I do like that Shanahan does throw him in for a surprise play or two here or there too. I mean, that absolutely helps. So good on your coach for that one for sure.
Yeah, I would say this though. I am excited to see Trey play.
100%.
I mean, no matter what the outcome is, I'm excited to see what the kid can do because he has a lot of ability. And there were ooh and ah moments at training camp when we were there where it was like, oh my gosh, there were moments in certain situations because he did very good in the red zone and areas like that, but he would struggle and move the ball drills. But when you're in those certain situations, he would execute at a high level. And you're like, oh my gosh, is this guy going to take Jimmy's job? So I understood right away what people were seeing and wanting from him. So I want to see it on display. I just hope that we're going to get the production from him that I want to see and not what could happen, which is the alternative and Arizona just absolutely, giving him fits because Arizona is a very good football team.
That's the problem for me right now.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest concern is you guys are. This is not like you've talked about. This isn't the old Arizona Cardinals, man. Cliff Kingsbury and your guys' coaching staff has this group operating at an extremely, extremely high level. And when you got a talented team with a young coach who's hungry, right? He's the one that's been catching the most flack in the NFC West of all the coaches. You got McVay, you got Pete Carroll, who's already proven it. You got Kyle Shanahan, who's been to a couple of Super Bowls. And then you got this dude from Texas Tech that couldn't get it done with Patrick Mahomes and wants to come in and doing all this other nonsensical stuff. He's been catching nothing but flack. He's hungry. The roster's hungry. You take all of that, and then you add in a rookie quarterback in San Francisco. For 49ers fans who love Trey Lance, right? This is a perfect storm situation where he can cement his legacy in his first ever start. There's a certain section of the fan base. There is a section of the fan base, Evan, that believes this, that truly believes it's perfect storm for him to he'll put himself on the Montana young level game 1. And then there's other people who are sitting there going, this is also a perfect, you take a breath here. This is also a perfect storm for a terrible start to a career. A red hot team who's got everything going for him. And people they got everything to lose. They really have nothing to lose because last season, you guys got off to a hot start. Last season, you were doing a lot of great things and then things didn't go your way late. You guys have already, you've been through the adversity. You guys have gone through some of this already. The start you guys are on right now, you're primed to do something big. This is your chance to do that. I don't know why you guys wouldn't come out and put your best foot forward, knowing that you have a young man out there, a rookie who doesn't have a lot of game experience that you can exploit.
This last year, I felt like they quit on Cliff Kingsbury or Cliff didn't get them prepared. Going into this year, absolutely everybody has said that they are using what happened last year as motivation. And a lot of people are still picking the 49ers to beat the Cardinals. And there's players retweeting that and saying, that's fine until we prove everybody we haven't proven anything. And I'm like, okay, I like that. I like the way we're going. And Arizona Cardinals moved to Phoenix in 1988. That was the first season as the Phoenix Cardinals. Since they moved here in 1988, we're talking 33 years now, something like that. They have yet to start 5-0. So this is a chance for not really a franchise altering type of stat here, but to do something they've never done before since coming to the Valley. And I think that speaks volumes just for the franchise. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been fans for a long time and either remembered seeing when we were playing an old Sun Devil Stadium before it got renovated, nobody showing up, maybe 10,000 people or 10 to 15% sell out and go drink a beer on a 120 degree day out there, So to get to where we are now, just as a franchise, is exciting because I remember a time when they were talking about moving the Cardinals back in 98, 99. And I was a kid, we sucked. We saw, Larry Centers and a couple of good players way back when, but I never wanted to hear that. And to go to now, to be the darlings of the NFL, if you will, because I wouldn't even say we were the darlings of the NFL in 2015 when we were so good. Everybody was all about Cam Newton, who won the MVP that year and then eventually lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl. 2008, 2009, when we went to the Super Bowl, like we were 8-8 at one point, or we were 9-7. Like we were a really poorish team and just went on an absolute tear. And Larry Fitzgerald, thank you for everything that he did. So we've never been like the darlings of the NFL. So to have this kind of happen now, Kyler Murray showing out, to have the coach doing what he's doing in his third year, to not only have these young guys that are hungry to bring in guys like JJ Watt, Jordan Hicks, and these veterans that can just bring everything together. It's a very exciting time. But again, I've got, half my foot is in, half my foot is out. You know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
A chance to go 5-0 for first time since coming to the Valley is huge. You guys have pepped me up even more that I think that we're going to win. And I hate that you've done that for me because you're telling me all the things that could go wrong. But, with that being said, I still happen to think this could be a very good game for Trey Lance just because we don't have a lot on tape.
And I hope you're right, because I would love to see Trey get out there and spin. When it comes down to it, I'm the type of 49er fan that I don't care who is playing out there as long as we win. I don't care if we win by 1 point, or I don't care if it's 3-0 for that matter. Whatever it is, as long as they win, I'm just one of those guys. But I think there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines because the games were so competitive last year with Arizona, and I think that both teams in certain ways are better and different. And so I'm wondering if we're going to get the same sort of thing where it's going to come down to the wire, or if you're going to get somebody that pulls away. And I'm thinking it's going to be a closer game, that they're going to stick close to each other, and then somebody will win it in the end. But I think that's what's going to be the most exciting, is there's so many storylines. Because like you said, I do want to see Zaven Collins play as well. That's one of my guys as well. I love that guy.
Absolutely.
So I want to see him, but I want to see how they play Isaiah Simmons against Trey Lance and what Kyle Shanahan cooks up. Can Kyle Shanahan cook up something? He did it for RG3. Can he cook up something for Trey Lance that could confuse everyone and get it done? Because I hear a lot of people, and I don't know if you're very familiar with 49ers Twitter, but it goes crazy. And they are all on the fact that Kyle can't develop quarterbacks, yet RG3 had a huge rookie season there in Washington, and then he turned Matt Ryan into an MVP. So it's like, no, he knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. He's just got to have time to develop them. So I am curious what he comes up with. Are we going to see the RG3 offense? Are we going to see a version of it? All I know is I hope at some point we see a jump pass because Alex will lose his mind.
Oh, man, are you kidding me? Sure to come off. Sure to come off if the jump pass happens, man. Are you kidding me?
Let me tell you, the thing that I don't want to see, I do not want to see Brandon Ayuk tear us up. I don't I love you, BA, like forks up. Absolutely. But man, having him beat us, that would break my heart. And I just don't want to see Brandon Ayuk have his breakout game, man.
Oh, that would be nice.
It would be great. It would be absolutely great if that happens,
man.
Crazy. I would love it, dude. I would love it
so
if it happened.
So now I know what I'm cheering for.
I know what I'm rooting for also. I'm going to start him in fantasy this week just for that reason.
Jesus.
I don't know. One of my leagues, I'm one of my leagues I have to. It's already looking bad in that league. Just take a shot.
Yeah.
Just take a shot. Might as well.
I predicted after you got off the pod last night, Alex, that we were going to win 27-23. I think it's going to be more that we're in favor and maybe we give up a touchdown late or something and guys try to go for an onside kick or something like that. I just think the score might be a little closer than it is, but I think the score itself will be close at the end. But I don't know if you guys are a fan of crumble cookies or anything. You want to put a little friendly wager on this game?
Oh, geez.
I'm down.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
So since there's two of you and one of me, I don't know if you guys live close to each other or see each other. I can send one box or I can send two. But if I send two boxes, you guys each have to send me one at some point, DoorDash or something like that.
Sounds good.
I mean, we do see each other.
We do see each other.
So,
we do see each other plenty.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll do one each. I'll do one each
Okay.
for me to get two, because then I can share one. I can have one by myself, and then my wife can have one.
Of course.
That's perfect.
We're in this. We'll do it.
Done. Crumble cookie off, Cutback crew.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Crumble cookie off with Evan. This is awesome, man. This is awesome. Look, this is going to be an exciting matchup. It's going to definitely be different than a lot of people thought, and a lot of people were anticipating heading into the season with what Arizona has been able to do so far and what Cliff Kingsbury has done with this team, to Kyler Murray's development, to now the Trey Lance saga fully unfolding here in week 5 of the season. Man, Evan, this is going to be exciting. It's going to be lights out this Sunday. It's going to be fun. Arizona is going to be rocking. They're looking for that first 5-0 start like you talked about.
Wearing our black jerseys too. We always look good in black.
You guys do. You guys do. It looks good in the black. The blackouts are always fun.
I don't like it.
And not a
better
fan.
than your guys' blackout jersey with like the red trim. That was weird.
Let's not talk about it.
100%. Agree 100%. And it's not that I don't like the jerseys of the Cardinals. I don't want them to play well. So let's not wear those because they seem to play well when they wear them.
True.
No blackout, but it's too late. It's too late. That's happening. Look, Evan, let them know where they can find you again.
Yeah, please visit us at He's on Fire Podcast. And I'd love to get you on sometime. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and then you can listen to all the streaming platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff at He's on Fire Podcast. I am on Twitter at Coach Evan B. So hit me up and let's argue about the game.
Yeah, and then somebody's going to be eating cookies at some point. You know.
It's true.
Exactly.
They're good cookies too.
I've never had them.
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
god!
Really?
Somebody.
Yeah.
You won't like them. You don't want them.
Good point.
And you will 100%.
Oh, 100%.
Look, Evan, man, always fun having you on, man. I'll see you this Tuesday for Quest for the West. Cutback crew, we appreciate it. And Evan, man, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Evan.
Cheers, guys.
All right.
Awesome chat.
Great
Absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed it. It's fun talking, you know, with people that understand their football team and then getting into everything that needs to go there. And I think the whole time we're talking to Evan, I'm slowly convincing myself that Trey Lance can have a big game. I just want to see it. You know what I mean? I need Trey to do it, but I am excited to see it. That's 100%. I am 100% all the way in on watching Trey Lance play. I want to see him. I want to see him make big plays. I want to see him make mistakes. And I want to see how Kyle Shanahan schemes this thing up.
That's the big thing. I mean, don't take the negative feelings or the uncertainty about decision making or me feeling like there could be an opportunity for him to make mistakes that either end drives or make turnovers. Like the reality of the situation is for me is I'm trying to be realistic about where this kid is and who he is. Right, he's a rookie who hasn't played a lot of football, so the margin for error for him is large. It is extremely large, but that also means something special could come out of it. Because I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. And I've always been that kind of person. And you've known me forever.
Yeah.
I'm an over-preparer. I always prepare for the worst possible thing to happen. Because if it does happen, I don't have to fly off the handle and be, completely surprised and overreacting to the moon because, okay, I was expecting the worst and this is what happened. This was the worst. But if the worst doesn't happen, okay, good news. The worst didn't happen. And that's positive things because now I can dive into and look at what actually happened, what went wrong, what went right, and what great things came out of it. Because then it's like, okay, we can build on these things, right? We know what the weaknesses are already. We can hide these things. We can work and develop these things. It's really easy to pick apart, the positives.
Right.
When you're expecting the worst, it's really, really hard to find a glimmer of hope when you're expecting the moon and you don't even get off the ground.
Yeah, don't expect the worst and don't expect the moon. Just expect the norm. You know what I mean? Just have tempered expectations and let Trey surprise us. I mean, let Trey make big-time plays and create. I do think that Kyle Shanahan's going to dial up some shots down the field. I wasn't kidding with the way that I told Evan. I do think that's going to happen. I think that it comes down to the running game, though. If this running game gets going, and I do think Arizona is going to make a concerted effort to take the run game away, they're just not very good at it. So they're going to have to put multiple people in the box, which is going to create opportunities. So I hope that Evan's worst nightmare happens, and it's Brandon Ayuk that has these big plays down the field. I would love to see Trey Lance illustrate some chemistry with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on deep plays and big shots because he's going to have to create without George Kittle. So it's going to be an exciting game to watch. It's going to be fun because no matter what, it's something new, right? You're waking up on Sunday. It's going to be like Christmas morning. You're waking up and you got a nice present to open. and Trey Lance is that present. We'll see if it ultimately runs out of gas, and battery runs out early and you're done playing with it, or if it runs all the way through the game and we get a nice victory out of it. Hoping for the victory. I'm hoping for the latter. I'm going to be 100% behind Trey Lance. I hope he shows out. Truth be told, I hope he goes like 25 of 26 for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns and shocks the world and takes the NFL by storm, and we never have to worry about this again because
silly string on the podcast.
That's the best situation for 49ers though, right? Because as long as we have the best player at quarterback is always the best situation.
100%. And look too, if Trey has a game like that, right? You're feeling really good going into the bye, and then he's got a full bye week to prepare for the Colts. Yeah. I mean, because if he has a game like that, he is starting. He is starting in week 7 no matter what happens, no matter how good Jimmy feels.
1,000%.
If he has that kind of game, and lights out, multiple tutties, 300-plus yards passing, run games dialed in, defense is lighting up, and the energy's high, he's starting. He's starting week 7. You can take it to the bank.
Yeah.
And the only time he wouldn't be starting is if he comes down from the moon that he has planted his flag on, and something like terrible happens and he goes off and just has a terrible game. If Trey Lance has those types of performances, man, it's his team the rest of the way. And you know what? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for that because the Niners are now ahead of schedule, right? Because the idea was that Trey was going to be the guy in 2022. If he's the guy in 2021, you're ahead of the curve, 49ers fans. You're ahead of the crew faithful. You're ahead of the crew TCC. That's what you want to be. In front of the 8 ball, not behind it.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, it'll be Jimmy Garoppolo's team against the Colts. That's just being realistic and being ideal and telling it how it is. I'm hoping for Trey Lance to blow it up because I want the 49ers to win. I'm always going to be consistent on that. And if a great Trey Lance is always going to be the best option for the 49ers. We have to wait for him to get there. I'm hoping he skips like a bunch of steps and just jumps straight to the head of the table. And if he does, hey, there we go.
Deserves it. He deserves to sit at that head of the table if you're going to skip all the steps, all the rungs of the ladder of the way up. You just want to assert yourself and take the top spot. That's fine. But you usually have to climb your way up. And that's why I'm trying to be realistic. Mm-hmm. That's why you and I are trying to temper expectations 100%. A little bit and waiting for him to start making the necessary steps to get to the top of the ladder. We know he'll get there. We know he can get there. It's just a matter of time and when. If he wants it to be this Sunday, then go make it this Sunday, guy, and make us the 2 happiest podcasters in the entire world.
100%. And I will get on here on the reaction show and praise him. No matter how he plays, I'm going to break down his game, down the middle. But if he plays well, I can't wait to, give him those props. And if he struggles,
can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to break down that all-22 film next week because
no matter what, it's going to be insightful.
Getting two halves of all Trey Lance playing and a game plan that was put together for him against a very good football team. I mean, no matter what comes away with this is one of the better football teams in the league. So we're going to get very good film against one of those teams, and I mean that is invaluable. As far as looking at it from a coach's perspective.
100%. And Evan wasn't wrong, right? This is one of those things where because you don't have film on Trey Lance, it makes it really questionable in terms of what exactly do the 49ers want to do? Mm-hmm. Are they going to go that route of the Washington football team, right, in those days with RG3? Or is there something entirely different schemed and planned up from Kyle Shanahan? Sunday is the only way to truly know that 1 o'clock game is going to be exciting, Ant.
Yeah, but you know what they can do? Tune in to Saturday's 11 a.m. episode because we're going to go over what that 49ers game plan could look like. How exactly is Trey Lance and this 49ers offense going to attack this defense, and what can the 49ers defense do to keep Kyler Murray in the box? We're going to go all over it because we're going to talk about the game plan and what it's going to look like or what we think is going to look like. Of course, there's no way to know for sure, but we do have a better idea now that we know it is going to be Trey. Elijah Mitchell's playing. Those are big news. George Kittle's possibly out, so it changes the way the offense is played. But I think Kyle Shanahan was prepared for this. Mike McDaniel, they have prepared. So it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to that video.
That video is going to be a lot of fun. And maybe those 5 field goals weren't inaccurate by Madden. Who knows? I hope that's not the case. Let's hope the big plays can happen.
I'll take it if we win.
If we get a big fat W, I don't care.
Get crumble cookies.
Exactly. Crumble cookies are exciting. I'm actually excited about the crumble cookie off we got going on here.
I might have to eat one on air so people can see the deliciousness on my face because I've never had one before.
It's very true. Also, crumble cookie. What's up?
Yeah.
You can sponsor. It's fine. It's a lot of fun. Evan it's always a good time when we have Evan on here on the podcast. Quest for the West is going to be a lot of fun this week also as well. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of the content still to come your way. And until the next one, Cutback crew and the faithful, stay safe.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.